If Tom Herman is to right his listing Texas ship, he'll have to do so with a young gun under center. In the season-opening loss to Maryland, Shane Buechele suffered an injury to his right throwing shoulder. While it was thought earlier in the week that Buechele may be able to play in today's game against San Jose State, that won't be the case. True freshman Sam Ehlinger has been named the starting QB for today's game versus San Jose State. Shane Buechele has been ruled out. Longhorn Network. At Longhorn Network, September 9, 2017, a four-star member of the Longhorns' 2017 recruiting class, Sam Ehlinger was rated as the number 4 dual-threat quarterback in the country, the number 19 player at any position in the state of Texas, and the number 119 player overall on 247sports.com's composite board. Ehlinger didn't attempt to pass in the opener versus the Terrapins. So much for that. In mid-June, Jim Harbaugh stated that he and the football program would formally ask former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle to both serve as honorary captains at a Michigan game sometime in the future. 3 months later, the Wolverines head coach confirmed that sometime would be in 2017. The president and the first lady both were as gracious as they could be, Harbaugh said in a radio interview by way of the Detroit News. They worked very hard to try to come. They're not going to be able to, unfortunately, make it this year. The key words there, though, are this year, as Harbaugh added that it'll happen someday, I believe. Harbaugh and the Obamas do have a bit of history together. Harbaugh got a shout-out from the former First Lady at a White House event in January of this year, while the coach implored her husband in March of last year to nominate Judge Judy to the United States Supreme Court. In late February of this year, Harbaugh publicly questioned current President Donald Trump's budget proposal that called for defunding of a program near and dear to his heart. Arden Key returned to full contact in practice for LSU last week. This week, he'll make his much-anticipated return to the playing field. Monday, Ed Orgeron confirmed that Key will be available to play this weekend against Mississippi State in the SEC opener for both teams. Just how much is to be determined in a few days. We'll play him as much as we can, the head coach said, according to the Baton Rouge Advocate. We'll see during the week, see how much he can do. Recognize him back, smile with horns. Pic.twitter.com Zoo4QCNF35, Optimuski_ at ArdamKey49. September 11, 2017. In mid-February, LSU announced that Key had decided to take some time away from football, for personal reasons. 4 months later, the football program announced the defensive end had rejoined the team. At the same time, it was announced that Key had recently undergone shoulder surgery. It's the shoulder issue, reportedly involving his rotator cuff, that led to him being limited throughout summer camp and sidelined for the first 2 games of the 2017 season, wins over BYU and Chattanooga. A 4-star 2015 signee, Key was a consensus freshman All-American his first season with the Tigers after starting 9 games. Last season as a true sophomore, he led the team with 14.5 tackles for loss and 12 sacks. The latter total set a school record. Following that breakout campaign, he was named second-team All-Sec. Charles Williams' time on the field this season has come to an abrupt end. In the stunning season-opening upset loss to Howard, Williams sustained an ankle injury that kept him out of the Week 2 win over Idaho. On his private Twitter account over the weekend, the running back revealed that he would miss the remainder of the 2017 season with the unspecified injury. The football program subsequently confirmed to the Las Vegas Sun that the sophomore's announcement was accurate and he will be sidelined for the balance of 2017. Last season, Williams led the team in rushing with 763 yards. That number set a single-season Rebels record for a freshman. Prior to his injury, he had rushed for 93 yards on 12 carries. Taking over as UNLV's top back, Lexington Thomas leads the team in rushing with 341 yards and 5 touchdowns. Not surprisingly, Hurricane Irma and her swath of destruction continues to have an impact on college football. Indiana announced that, after discussions with officials from Florida International, the university supports FIU's decision to cancel their Week 3 game in Bloomington. Below is a portion of the school's release on the latest Irma-related development. U Athletic Director Fred Glass and FIU Athletic Director Pete Garcia have been in regular communication since Sunday about the situation, and with FIU classes being cancelled, several FIU players and coaches being from the South Florida area, along with the considerable logistical hurdles to overcome in traveling to Bloomington, the decision to cancel the game was made late on Monday evening. The two programs plan to schedule a game between the schools at Memorial Stadium at some point in the future. The Hoosiers have a bye in Week 6 weekend of October 7, and the football program is hopeful they can cobble together a game for that weekend. Given the time frame, such a game would more than likely involve an FCS team. 5 of the 7 recently completed Week 2 games involving FBS teams from the state of Florida were cancelled ahead of Irma making landfall. FIU's home game against Alcorn State, originally scheduled to be played in Miami, was moved to Birmingham, Alabama. Florida Atlantic's game against Wisconsin in Madison over the weekend went off as originally planned, although the Owls will be holed up on that campus indefinitely. In addition to the FIU Indiana game, Georgia Tech's Week 3 game against Central Florida has already been cancelled. The Miami-Florida State game scheduled for this weekend was moved to next month over the weekend. There's already talk that Illinois game Saturday on the road against South Florida could be moved to Champaign or outright cancelled, although there's been no official word either way. Still up in the air as well are FAU's home game against Bethany Cookman in Florida hosting Tennessee in Gainesville. Monday afternoon, the SEC issued a statement on the status of that latter contest. The Southeastern Conference is in communication with the athletics departments at the University of Florida and the University of Tennessee after Hurricane Irma passed through the Gainesville area overnight and early this morning. Now that the storm has passed through Gainesville, the University of Florida is working with local authorities to assess the effect of the storm on the campus and the Gainesville community, at the same time ensuring the appropriate security and local officials are available to host a game, said SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey.